The morning of November 4, 2010, began like any other at Singapore's Changi International Airport. The sun shimmered against the massive glass walls of Terminal 1, and a quiet hum of jet engines blended with the shuffle of travelers rushing to catch their flights. For most, it was just another day in transit. For those boarding Qantas Flight 32 bound for Sydney, Australia, it was supposed to be a smooth, comfortable ride aboard one of the most advanced aircraft in the skies, the Airbus A380, the pride of Qantas fleet. Inside the cockpit, Captain Richard de Crespigny adjusted his headset. A seasoned aviator, calm and composed, he had flown countless hours across the globe. Today, with a crew of experienced officers by his side, he expected nothing unusual. Behind him, in the luxurious cabin, passengers settled into their seats, flipping through magazines, adjusting blankets, and scrolling through the in-flight entertainment. There was laughter, casual conversations, and the kind of unbothered comfort only possible when people place absolute trust in a machine and the crew that guides it. The engines roared to life, four colossal Rolls-Royce Trent 900s lifting the double-decker aircraft into the sky with graceful power. Everything seemed routine. But 40 minutes into the flight, just as the plane cruised serenely above Indonesia's Batam Island, the ordinary shattered. Without warning, a deafening boom echoed through the fuselage. The aircraft shuddered violently, as if struck by an invisible fist. Passengers gasped, coffee spilled, and overhead bins rattled. In the cockpit, alarms screamed to life, red lights blinking in a frenzy. Something catastrophic had happened to engine number 2, the second engine on the left wing. Captain de Crespigny's instincts kicked in. He and his team scanned the displays, and what they saw was chilling. The explosion had not only destroyed the engine, but flying shrapnel had torn through vital systems, hydraulic lines, electrical cables, fuel tanks, and part of the wing. The world's most advanced passenger plane was suddenly crippled. Meanwhile, from the cabin windows, horrified passengers could see shredded metal and smoke billowing from the wing. Some began to pray. Others gripped their armrests in silence. Parents held children closer, whispering reassurances they barely believed themselves. Back in the cockpit, the flight deck became a battlefield of decisions. Warning messages filled the screens. There were so many that they scrolled endlessly, overwhelming the system. It wasn't just one failure, it was dozens. The A380 was designed to handle emergencies, but this was no ordinary failure. Engine pieces had punctured fuel tanks, causing leaks. Hydraulic fluid spilled out, limiting control of the aircraft's massive flaps and brakes. Critical electrical systems were damaged. And as if fate wanted to test every ounce of the crew's skill, one of the landing gears jammed, refusing to confirm whether it would extend for landing. Every pilot in that cockpit knew the truth. One wrong decision, and the 469 souls on board could perish. Yet, amid the chaos, Captain de Crespigny's voice remained steady. He assigned tasks to his crew, worked through checklists, and communicated calmly with air traffic control. His priority: get the plane safely back to Singapore. The crippled aircraft circled for nearly 2 hours, dumping excess fuel to reduce landing weight. Inside the cabin, passengers sat in tense silence, many scribbling last messages to loved ones on scraps of paper, certain they might not survive. Flight attendants, trained for calm under pressure, moved quietly through the aisles, offering reassurance with forced smiles. The atmosphere was heavy with fear, yet somehow, there was also trust. A belief that the crew was doing everything possible. Finally, the call came. It was time to land. The giant plane lined up with the runway at Changi. But as it descended, new alarms sounded. The brakes were failing. The A380, the largest passenger aircraft in the world, would have to stop on a single runway, with limited braking power, leaking fuel, and an engine still smoldering. Passengers gripped seats. The world outside blurred as the wheels touched down with a thunderous roar. The plane hurtled forward, brakes screaming, reverse thrusters straining. Smoke and the acrid smell of burning rubber filled the air. For agonizing seconds, it seemed the jet would overshoot the runway. But slowly, miraculously, the aircraft ground to a halt. They had made it. Applause erupted in the cabin, mixed with tears and laughter of relief. Strangers embraced. Parents sobbed into their children's hair. The passengers of Qantas Flight 32 had stared death in the face and lived to tell the tale. When engineers later examined the damage, they were stunned. The explosion had caused one of the most severe mechanical failures in aviation history. Any lesser aircraft and any less experienced crew would have ended in tragedy. Instead, not a single life was lost. Captain de Crespigny would later say, "We didn't just land a plane that day, we saved 469 families." The story of Qantas Flight 32 became a legendary case study in aviation schools, a testament to human skill, calm under pressure, and the resilience of engineering when combined with leadership. Today, when people speak of aviation miracles, they often mention the miracle on the Hudson. But to those who were on board Flight 32, the true miracle was that in the face of overwhelming failure, fire, destruction, and cascading system breakdowns, the crew never gave up and the passengers never lost hope. It was the day when the sky itself tried to bring a giant down, but humanity's courage refused to surrender.